This is some bombshell news coming out of the Coinbase institutional account today on X. Cardano holders, this is something to pay attention to. Even if you're a not Cardano holder, maybe even more important for you to pay attention. ADA on the daily chart, ADA on the current daily chart. What does it have to do with ADA on the October 2020 daily chart? Though speculative, it's going to be fun to explore the answer to that question. So hit the subscribe and like on the way in. And I want to start with the news. Cardano going mainstream with Coinbase futures. Massive liquidity inflow on the horizon. ADA is primed. I thought it was primed anyway before this video. You see institutions coming on board, everybody. We see Grayscale. We see the whole ETF scenario that is in play right now. We're excited, and we're actually going to talk a little bit more about that in just a moment, but we're excited to announce that Coinbase Derivatives has filed with the CFTC to self-certify natural gas futures and Cardano ADA futures, expanding our offerings in both energy and crypto derivatives markets. We anticipate going live with the products on Monday, March 31st. I was having a little bit of a chat with Grok over here. A few key points I just want to highlight to you. Indicates growing mainstream acceptance of the crypto, potentially increasing its liquidity and market exposure. That's number one. And this is going to be an ongoing, growing story for ADA. We talk a lot about ADA, $250 billion market cap, $500 billion market cap, one day, $1 trillion market cap. These are the stepping stones. It's just a slow pace of stepping stones of growth. And that's not a bad thing. This is why, as a value investor, ADA intrigues me so much, because it has the fundamentals to back this up and to grow upon. The mention of filing with the CFTC suggests Cardano may be classified. This is huge. May be classified as a commodity rather than a security, which could have significant regulatory and market implications for its future trading and adoption. Even on my post that I posted, somebody was over here kind of mentioning that, and I guess I don't have it up, but massive for Cardano, everybody. Not a security, but a commodity. And this hints directly to that. The development aligns with the recent SEC descriptions of Cardano's role in U.S. digital infrastructure, highlighting its use in academic credentialing and government smart contracts, reinforcing its utility in institutional applications. Do you realize this? We're talking about this news kind of overlapping with what's going on with SEC taking a look at Cardano because of even the ETFs, right? And now we're really getting a different definition of where Cardano stands in this market. SEC recognizes Cardano a key asset for government services and credentialing. This was some kind of recent big news. In a significant development, the SEC has highlighted Cardano as a key player in the U.S. government's digital future. According to a recent proposal, and it's just a proposal, Cardano is ideally suited for enhancing government operations, particularly in areas like academic credentialing and smart contract, because that is what it's built for. And here's the SEC filing over here. It's on the SEC website. I'll put a link down in the description if you want to read through it. XRP was also on here as well. But do you see what is actually happening for Cardano right now? And it all ties into, not just because it's been a consistent top 10 in crypto, it all ties into the fact that the fundamentals, meaning how it was built, the slow and steady just build so that it's secure and decentralized, that is what's laying the groundwork for these things to start happening. And I really think this is going to pick up steam, and adoption for Cardano is going to increase. With that, as a value investor, we look at price. We talk about price. So let's talk about the charts. And real quick, before I do want to give a shout out to itrustcapital, the sponsor of today's video. They've been for years supporters of Cardano. You can see Cardano, one of the fastest growing blockchain assets in the crypto space. This was 2021. And the thing about it is now, as we're kind of at this area, and you're going to see it on the charts in just a moment, when we're at this area where we're seeing institutions coming into Cardano, I think products like iTrust are going to see a lot of adoption for ADA. So right now, as we're kind of trading within macro environments, bull market to bear market to bull market, I keep saying this, having an IRA with itrustcapital is so helpful, because if you're going to make a move, say at the top of a bull market or even at the bottom of a bear market, a macro move, right? It's so powerful to be log into your IRA, make a trade, and it's tax-free. You can't do that outside of an iTrust IRA. So from gold and silver to crypto, we offer a wide selection of alternative assets for you to self-trade. And that's the other thing, self-trade. I think a lot of people traditionally are like IRA, you have to call your finance person. Hey, can you get me set up with an IRA? No, go set up your account in minutes with iTrust. You can log in and start buying, selling, and owning your assets 24/7 as soon as your account is funded. So click the link, iTrust Capital. I appreciate iTrust for sponsoring Crypto Capital Venture, one of the best products in all of crypto, and for the macro-minded, a huge product. Here's ADA on the weekly. Let's dig into the analysis. All right. I said at the beginning, it's speculative. We've been tracking so many different versions of technical analysis, the upside potential, the downside potential right now, just even with going into next week in the Fed meeting, right? And there's going to likely be a lot of volatility. That could be to the downside. It could be to the upside, but we have to prepare for all scenarios. But I do want to speculate a little bit in this video. And I don't mean to throw hopium out there, but I do want to just cover one possible scenario, right? We talk about downside. Let's talk a little bit about upside. We've done a lot of kind of discussing the similarity of where this kind of right shoulder is right now of Cardano. And there's been so much volatility in this process, like from 120 to 50, back to around 120, back to like 60, a lot of volatility in such a short period of time. We've been comparing it to kind of this move back here. Now, what's very intriguing about it is if you go and you look at ADA on the daily chart and you start comparing these moves, then it's kind of like we really are, even on the daily chart, in terms of the squeezing of moving averages, in terms of ADA just kind of being squeezed into a decision, we are there. And what I mean by this is this. I was looking at the daily moving averages, and can you just look at how the 200, the 50, the 20, they were just completely separated in the entire move. And it has taken really months for all of these moving averages to finally start colliding. And that's where we are in ADA price right now, really in between all of them. You can just see right below the 20, right above the 200, the 50 is just above the 20 in blue. And I started thinking, there's a lot of comparison. I think I saw a post earlier on the Bitcoin, on Bitcoin. I don't know, I guess I don't have it up, but it was kind of a post comparing Bitcoin at this moment to Bitcoin back here, kind of in this vicinity, right? Last cycle. And now ADA is kind of in a similar area. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because I'm not going to show you a clip, but I was tracking ADA last cycle at this time, October 10th, 2020. So that would be right around here. So ADA kind of like making a little bit of a breakout out of this little pattern, this little consolidation that it was in. And notice what ADA was doing at that moment. Very similar. The 20, the 50, the 200 were all like completely separate. And it took a while, and then they were kind of squeezed together, and ADA started making its move. What I really want to point out is ADA didn't have the breakout at that moment, right? ADA had to continue kind of just chopping around a little bit. But what was key was putting in a higher low from the swing low. So with where we are in the ADA charts right now, that's what I'm wondering. What's the next move going to be like? And is it going to be similar to that move last cycle? And I know this isn't all, technical analysis is not all about like just looking at historical charts and comparing it, right? But I think at moments it is worth watching the price action of certain times and comparing it just for one perspective. And in this case, because these macro setups are so similar, it's definitely worth digging into what was going on here beneath the 20, above the 50-week moving average, right? Because that's where we are. We are beneath the 20. We are above the 50-week moving average. We are in a very similar structure. So when we're looking at this, it's kind of like, all right, well, here we go. Let's see if ADA can not only test the 20 and the 50. So the 50 is right around 80 cents. The 20 is around 77 cents. Let's see if ADA can make a break to that area, but actually even pop above it. That is what ADA did last cycle when I was covering the video. It popped above the moving averages, and then we kind of came back down and tested the 200 again. So that's the question. Is ADA going to do a similar move? And we have to track that 200 moving average as kind of a higher low support for ADA. Even at this very moment, ADA is like is there, right? So if ADA starts falling, it will be diverging. And if it starts closing strong daily candles below the 200, it will be diverging from last cycle. That's just something to keep an eye on, especially in this environment where there's a high fear kind of bearish sentiment, like just taking over crypto. So that's essentially what I'll be watching on ADA short-term price. Can we break above those two moving averages to the upside? And at the lower end, can we stay above the 200 week or 200-day moving average, just around 70 cents? I wanted to point out to you this upward momentum on the daily RSI that you see here. And I wanted to point it out because if we go to this move last cycle that we were just talking about, I just want to point out ADA was doing something similar, right? Just this higher high, higher low move on the RSI, and that led into the breakout. Look at that. That's the breakout. So will that repeat? Have no idea, everybody. And I'm not even suggesting that that is going to repeat, but I'm trying to identify at the very least short-term areas, short-term bullish confirmation areas to watch for if it does repeat. Needless to say, if we zoom out on the ADA chart, even if we fall and we go down, we're testing the 50-week moving average in the 50s. I'm bullish. I'm bullish on crypto right now, everybody. I'm a macro investor. That's how I've positioned myself in these markets. I know it's volatile. I know people are confused about what's going to happen next. Nobody does know what's going to happen next at any given time. But when we have headlines like this and we have mass adoption coming, big money coming, tens of trillions coming into crypto in general, I just have this plan to zoom out and prepare for that. So it's fun to track short-term price speculation, and we'll continue doing so. But that's my long-term thought. And that's all this is, everybody. I'm just sharing with you kind of my long-term approach and my approach in general to the crypto space. So let me know your thoughts below. I appreciate you cruising through. Hit the subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like. And if you're interested in getting set up with the iTrust IRA, click the link below and get set up with them. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.